others. For more detail, visit our website www.uonbi.ac.ke. The University of Nairobi, a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
Now, you can get your Uber ride with a phone call. Call 0800 722 000 to ride.
Mbele iko sawa nimecheck. Na leo nadai moja ya power that I will never forget. Drop me your pin and our location. Stack stories za simu, me stack my conversation. Stack, utanipata kwenye gate kama ni appointment. You know that I won't be late. No, hii story najua well na relate. So katambe mtumbili sote tu participate. Take a selfie.
Leo nimekam ku get down. Leo nimekam ku get busy. You've been on my case for a while, but baby, I am not that easy. I'm feeling some type of way. Nishike kama siku za mwizi, tupige kama gym tuko tizi, nipike kama toke mandizi. Yeah. Today is your lucky day. What you gonna do now that you have me all to yourself? So come and get this before we get down to business. Be a selfie. Baby, now my lover. Do a selfie. Number one lover. Be a selfie. Baby, now my lover. Do a selfie. Number one lover.
The Nyeri National Polytechnic is a public national TVET institution offering competency-based education and training courses. We have state-of-the-art equipment in electrical, mechanical, and civil engineering and hospitality. September 2019 intake is ongoing for the following CBET courses: simple automation, lathe machine operator, manual metal arc welding, among others. Apply now and enjoy reduced tuition fee. The Nyeri National Polytechnic. Excel in skills and technology.
Here at Toyota Kenya, we believe the best service topped with a high level of professionalism is key to earning our customers' trust. To deliver this experience countrywide to our customers, we need a partner that shows the same level of excellence.
Total Quartz Engine Oil is our chosen partner.
Total Quartz gives us that assurance, and we in turn provide quality service to our customers, giving them value for their money. This is our tradition. This service is available at over 25 service centers across the country.
This is NTV.
A very good evening to you and welcome to NTV Tonight this Monday, the second day of the new month of September 2019. We are live from the nation's center here in the capital city, Nairobi. These are the top stories tonight.
Tonight, health floodgates open.
Guide next to me also shouted, "Tunabebwa na maji," and we thought rescue will come, but nothing. And then next minute, I see family going one after the other.
The wall of water that swept up hikers at Hell's Gate National Park crushed families. Also tonight, the High Court throws Sosion a life jacket, but he may still be swimming against the current.
I hold no grudge at all against any of my colleagues, the leadership.
Plus, the sound of defiance for Mau Forest families still in the thick of things.
Nilisikia akisema hiyo title ni karatasi. So ile kitu mimi nauliza tu kama ipo ina yake na chuma anipee chuma.
Government moves in to clear the forest glades. And also tonight,
sasa ndio akafikiria nikisema niwache huyu mtoto atafanya nini? Atanitambua.
The footprints of violence in Matungu, an area touched by crime.
This is NTV Tonight with Edmond Nyabola.
Thank you so much for making time for us. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atieno. Now, NTV was meant to air an expose on Sunday, September the 1st, about how the Child Welfare Society of Kenya has been abusing the rights of children under its care and embedding funds allocated to it in a scheme where special needs children are used for financial gain and big profit. But the organization obtained a court order on Friday, barring us from airing the expose Sins of Saviors yesterday. While we moved to court today to get the orders vacated, a judge who was meant to hear the case failed to show up in court. Our legal team is still pursuing the matter in a bid to have the order thrown out. We hereby assure you that we are still doing everything in our power to have the expose aired, and it will. But away from that and to our top story tonight. The Hell's Gate National Park has been closed after 7 people were swept up in a sudden gush of floodwaters while on a hike. The violent torrent swept up members of one family and a tour guide, while 6 others from the hiking party of 13 escaped. NTV's Kennedy Muriithi was there when the authorities recovered the bodies and families came to grips with the devastation.
What started out as an excursion at the Hell's Gate in Naivasha quickly turned into a tragedy that has plunged families into mourning. It was meant to be a fun Sunday afternoon, families spending time together before the next week kicks off. But that was not to be. 6 people and a tour guide were swept up in the torrent of flood waters that enveloped them suddenly. Now 3 families have less members. It is in this God at around 3 p.m. They were accompanied by their tour guide who also perished in the tragedy. 3 people survived.
Guide next to me also shouted, tunabebwa na maji. And we thought rescue will come, but nothing. And then next minute, I see family going one after the other. So my driver was next to me. We caught each other, and there's one guide, and there's a Kenyan couple, and my other niece was with us. So we held on to each other for 1 hour, 30 minutes.
Rescue when rain subsided till Monday 1 p.m. when the last body, that of a teenager, was recovered.
Hii shirika la KWS, manake hapa tunahitaji wageni wengi leo na hata na kesho siku zijazo, sababu ya kizazi kijazo. Waweze kuchukua hata kama ni vindi waje wataweka hapo. Ama wako na kiwaziliano wenye wataweka, enye kuna mtu anakaa akiona mvua inakuja, ataweza kuhalifu wale watu wako katika mule ndani.
The rains mixed with the soil, creating a sludge that buried the bodies, hampering the recovery mission.
Maji ambayo ilichukua watu ilikosiwa na hii maji ya Kengen ambayo nashuka kutoka huko juu. Orkaria ni brine water. Ikaleta maji ya mvua ilipokuja ikabeba wale wa tourists. Ndio hawa tunawatafuta hapa.
As far as KWS is concerned, these were rains that came from the hill area.
But generally this was an accident.
Na mimi naomba serikali asipumusike mpaka watu watoke kwa mamilima hii ya Esgate. Kwa sababu hiyo ndio nafanya maji. Samani hakuna hii maji. Sababu miti alikuwa ndani ya mito, miti alikuwa juu ya mamilima, alikuwa nasuia maji. Lakini watu nachoma makaa mpaka maji nakuja straight.
As the search party is called off and families retreat to bury their dead, residents left behind are of the view that this may not be the last tragedy, as those who are concerned with making sure that this area is well taken care of are giving them a deaf ear with regards to their plight on what is actually happening with regards to water that is coming from the gorge and the surrounding companies.
What we are planning to do is work with Olkaria and other areas upstream to be able to create a warning system where once we have rains there, then they can be able to inform our people that there are rains, and so that people are removed from the gorge prior to the water coming down.
In 2012, there was a similar tragedy involving youth from a PCEA church, where 7 people who were on an afternoon hike in the deep gorges also lost their lives. Kennedy Muriithi, NTV.
Families nestled in the Masai Mau say they will not move out of the forest even as the government moves in to map out the operation area. The defiant families say it is their birthright, and they have dared Environment Cabinet Secretary Keriako Tobiko to force them out, emboldened by their leaders who've instructed them to stay put. Olive Barrows reports from the front lines in the battle to save the Mau.
The first day of the school term brought with it a sign of things to come in the Maasai Mau. There were no bells rung to signal the start of class, the sound of children's laughter at play or teachers at the chalkboard. Just an eerie silence, the kind that comes before a storm. Government followed through on its promise to keep 15 schools located in the Maasai Mau from reopening their doors. As it readies to clear the 46,000 acres of forest reserve of human settlement.
It has been quite encouraging because even during night we would hear movement of people.
But the 10,000 households that call the forest home have taken root.
Na nilisikia akisema hiyo title ni karatasi. So ile kitu mimi nauliza tu kama iko ina yake na chuma anipee chuma.
There are those who've chosen to speak with their feet, silently packing up and making their way out of the forest. But the shuffle of their feet has been drowned out by the shouts of those who accuse President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto of betrayal.
Na kama alikuwa anatudanganya huko Olmekenyu, kama alikuwa anatudanganya huko Bomet, kama alikuwa anatudanganya huko Ilmotiok, arudi kama baba wa nchi na aseme tulikuwa tunawadanganya, tulikuwa tunataka kura.
Ordinarily, class would be in session, this being the first day of the second term. The students of Chebirbelek Primary School would be occupying these benches. But following the government directive that 15 schools in the Maasai Mara block be closed, including Chebirbelek, parents are at a loss for what will happen to their children and what will happen to institutions such as these. Olive Barrows, NTV.
Now, as the impending Mau evictions snowball into blame games, a section of leaders from the Maa community, led by Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelenku, have accused some of their counterparts from the Rift Valley of whipping up emotions to create tensions in the region. The eviction has, however, been criticized by leaders from the Rift Valley who say no one except the president can order an eviction.
We want to categorically state that people must get out of Mau. And the communities that are getting out of Mau is because they have accepted that this is the greater good for all of us. And I want to agree that an attack on Tobiko is actually an attack on the president himself, because CS Tobiko is an agent of the president. And so attacking the agent of the president amounts to an assault to the presidency.
The issue of the Maasai Mara forest is not negotiable in terms of residents who are there right now. We are saying that Maasai Mara forest must be conserved.
Wale ambao wanataka kufurusha watoto wetu, wazazi wetu, ndugu zetu na dada zetu wa Kenya kutoka msitu wa Mau, tunamwomba His Excellency the President to mind the plight of the old, the sick, the young. Wale ambao wanatoa raia kwa msitu wa Mau bila kujali haki zao za kibinadamu, na ni wale ambao pia wakati serikali ya nusu mkate ilikuwa inaondoa katika msitu wa Mau, wao walisimama na raia wakati ule, na nawaambia wakifika mbinguni siku moja Mungu atawauliza ile fikra na akili ambayo mlikuwa nayo mkitetea, hiyo fikra imekwenda wapi?
Away from the politics of the Mau evictions to the politics in the education sector, NAT Secretary General Wilson Sossion has scored a big win against his opponents after the courts reinstated him as the union's leader. The Labour Court ruled that the meeting that removed him was held in breach of a court order. The embattled nominated Member of Parliament has welcomed that ruling, as Brenda Wanga now tells us.
Wilson Sossion is all smiles as he makes his way back to the union's headquarters. The building, however, is secured by large padlocks. This is only temporary, he says.
We will continue working together tomorrow peacefully. Each one of you, you have your office, you have your job description, you have your duties. Everybody come back to the office tomorrow and let's continue working in peace to serve the teachers of Kenya.
Sosion's return here, the result of a court order obtained earlier in the day. His lawyer, Judith Gusera, told the Industrial and Labour Court that the meeting convened by the National Executive Council that removed him was an illegality since the Labour Court had stopped the meeting last week.
And was unaware of the purported meeting.
The NEC had not only removed Sosion, it had also stopped him from accessing the union's accounts. That has since been overturned until the case is heard tomorrow. But this victory for Sosion in the courts was almost thwarted by the NEC, which through lawyer Okongo Mogeni in the same court sought orders to stop Sosion from continuing its service as NAT Secretary General. Both applications will be heard on Tuesday.
Official has been suspended. Has issued.
But that isn't stopping Sosion from extending an olive branch to his erstwhile foes, both in the union and outside.
And we are not enemies of anyone. And let me declare, I am not an enemy of anyone as Wilson Sosion. And I hold no grudge at all against any of my colleagues, the leadership. I'm sure I have no problem with the leadership and the membership. And of course, let me assure those outside the union that we are not enemies of anyone.
He further says the demands that the union had made on the Teacher Service Commission, including the demand for remitting union dues and reversing the deduction of teacher salaries, must be addressed for the smooth running of the third and final term of the school calendar this year. He resumes office tomorrow. Brenda Wanga, NTV.
Now, several flights were today morning diverted from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi to Mombasa due to bad weather. Among the affected was a 7:35 a.m. Kenya Airways flight from Kisumu, which was diverted as a safety measure. At the Wilson Airport, takeoff was restricted and planes could be seen parked as managers waited for the fog to clear. The Meteorological Department says most parts of the country will likely experience enhanced rainfall between October and December. Let's have a look at some of the issues they spoke about. And areas likely to receive above to normal rainfall include Busia, Vihiga, Kakamega, Bungoma, Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay, Nyamira, Migori, Kisii, Kericho, West Pokot, Nandi, Bomet and Baringo counties as well. Now, the second one is the areas likely to receive near normal or slightly enhanced rainfall, which include Wajir, Mandera counties, Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, Lamu, Tana River, as well as there, Taita Taveta County, Makueni County, Kitui, and most parts of the Tana River, the Tana Delta, I should say. Now, areas likely to receive near normal or slightly enhanced rainfall include northeastern counties of Wajir, Mandera, Garissa, and parts of Isiolo counties in the coast region, as we have seen in the earlier slide as well. Now, lightning and floods are expected in Kisii, Kisumu, Kakamega, and Bungoma counties as well in that. And sectors that may be potentially affected in this include the Environment and Natural Resources, Agriculture, Livestock Department, and Food Security as well. Disaster management, the health sector, transport and public safety, and the energy sector as well. So that's the outlook from the weatherman, at least for the next few months, as well as we monitor what continues to happen in the country with the heavy rainfalls that we are experiencing right now. Now, Sarah Wairimu Kamodho, the wife of missing Dutch tycoon Tob Cohen, will spend the next 12 days in police custody after Kiambu Chief Magistrate Patricia Gishohi granted the police request for more days to conclude investigations. Wairimu was back in court today for the ruling in which investigators asked that she be detained for 2 weeks. Ken Mijungu has that story.
By the police to have had Sarah Wairimu Kamodho remains a person of great interest in the disappearance of her husband Tob Cohen. Today she was back in court hoping to be discharged against the application by the police to have her held for 14 days. The prosecution is yet to conclude investigations into Cohen's disappearance. The court also granted the prosecution its wish to create Cohen's residence at Forasi Lane, Mugomoni Close in Lower Kabete as a scene of crime. The suspect is, however, allowed to access her matrimonial home in the company of DCI officers and her lawyer. Top Cohen hasn't been found since he went missing from their home on the 19th of July. Efforts by authorities and his family to trace him remain futile, and the police say they have no clue what happened to the golf lover who had an ongoing divorce case in court and had filed assault claims against his wife of 12 years. Wairimu was arrested from her home in Kitusuru and questioned for the third time over Cohen's disappearance on the 19th of July. Wairimu had told police her husband packed his belongings on this day and drove out of their compound. They were not in talking terms. Wairimu's lawyers had accused the investigators of prosecuting their case in the media and that most of the information out there was news to the suspect. The court, however, declined to keep the media out of the proceedings as requested by the suspect, noting that the case was of public interest. Some reports indicate that Cohen was dropped off at a club in Westlands after he left his house on the day he is believed to have disappeared, and that he met at least 2 women over lunch at the club on July 20th around 2 and 4 p.m. Wairimu told the police that Cohen had informed her he was flying to Thailand for a medical checkup, but the police have confirmed he did not leave the country. The case will be mentioned on the 16th of September. The court will be briefed on the progress of the investigations. Ken Mijungu, NTV.
And away from that and to other news from the courts, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nuruddin Haji, now wants a businessman, Humphrey Kariuki, gagged from addressing the media. Senior Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions, Vincent Monda, on Monday, told the court that the accused should not address the media or issue a press statement while the matter is still pending before the court. Kariuki had earlier taken to social media to announce that he would hold a media briefing, outside the Milimani law courts. He and other directors of Africa Spirits Limited have denied evading tax amounting to 41 billion shillings. Meanwhile, police are investigating the circumstances in which an AP officer died at his plant in Thika, that's in Kiambu County. The AP officer is said to have been manning the factory on Saturday when he slipped and died. Elsewhere, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has dismissed that Samuel Gateri was among the state witnesses lined up to testify in the case against State House digital strategist Dennis Itumbi. The DCI says Gateri was under investigation and was at no point lined up as a state witness, even though his name was listed by the prosecution in the charge sheet against Itumbi. Gateri told the court that the DCI has been forcing him to make a confession and admitting that he personally knows Itumbi and Deputy President William Ruto. He has now retracted his statement, saying his life was in danger. And on that note, we take a short break on NTV tonight, but coming up, the crimes returns to Matungu constituency, I should say, months after police reinforcements cleared out. Now police in Matungu are continuing with those investigations.
Welcome to Turkana University College. Turkana University is a center of research, innovation, and technological development for advancement of the society. The university is located in the vast resource-rich county of Turkana. We offer unique competency-based training in schools of sciences, business and economics, education, and TVET training. Apply now for our January, May, and September intakes for postgraduate degree and diploma certificate in the following programs: environmental sciences, business administration, environmental health, human evolution biology, renewable energy and technology, education, development studies and social work, information technology, public administration and management, agriculture, early childhood development, ECDE, water technology, marine sciences, petroleum studies, among other courses. Turkana University, the cradle of knowledge.
Now, Kenya Bandozo, the headquarters, has moved from the IKM place, which was on Ngong Avenue, to Barabara Plaza. And the purpose of moving is just to offer more efficient and effective services. This is just one-stop shop for our customers in the road subsector.
Visit us at Barabara Plaza off Mombasa Road opposite KCAA, Airport South Road, JKIA, or get us at www.kura.go.ke. Kenya Urban Roads Authority, delivering efficient and safe urban road network.
Mgeni Pole, imejaa.
Nini? Tunakujua kwa nini wazee wetu wanapotelea kwako.
Ndio tuko tunataka kujua siri yako.
Siri ndio hiyo. Introducing the new salad oil with a spout for easy use. Comes packed with omega-6 and 9 and vitamin A and D and at a price that doesn't dent your wallet.
Leo utakula nyumbani.
Salad. Siri ndio hiyo.
Now you can get your Uber ride with a phone call. Call 0800 722 000 to ride. Looking for an institution to further your studies and wholesome growth in a serene environment? Kenya Methodist University KEMU is your best choice. Join our market-driven programs at Diploma, Bachelor's, Master's and PhD in Meru, Nairobi and Mombasa campuses and shape your career path. September 2019 and January 2020 intakes are ongoing. Call us today on 0724 256 162 or 0725 751-878. Kenya Methodist University. The future is here.
Dinda, unapeleka wapi vitu zangu?
Yaani wewe utashindaga hapa kila siku.
Babe, apparently your son has a fever. Oh, babe.
Mimi ni security consultant. Mimi sio muganga.
Look how happy he is seeing both of us here together.
Ukifunua tunafunika.
Concussion ulinipea ikifanya kazi.
Isura ina kale ya mganga. Hujawahi ona mganga handsome.
Welcome back to NTV Tonight. And crime returns to Matungu constituency months after police reinforcements cleared out. And now police in Matungu in Kakamega County are on the hunt for suspects who defiled and killed a 15-year-old girl and torched the house she was sleeping in. Zacchaeus Masame reports on what is now the second attack on a minor in Matungu in just 2 weeks.
It is an attack that has rattled Nanyeni village of Matungu constituency. Her blood-stained clothes telling of the last painful moments of her life. A group of men sneaked into the 15-year-old's home and did the unthinkable. The class 7 pupil at Nanyeni Primary School was sleeping in a separate house from that of her parents. She could not defend herself against her aggressors.
Kulia na kwa marukwa yangu tukaona mtoto walibaka huyo mtoto. Sasa ni kama huyo mtu ni mtu anajulikana, mtoto alimjua. Sasa ndiye akafikiria nikisema niwache huyu mtoto mtoto atafanya nini? Atanitambua. Sasa akamaliza kufanya haja yake, akaua huyo mtoto.
Nikashika mwanangu mkono nikamfuta hivi. Nikaona mwanangu anakuja hivi. Badala akiwa mzima kustuka nani anamfuta, mtoto anakuja hivi. Tena nikamwacha. Nikaona nikamwangalia vizuri nikapata mtoto amekufa.
Sisi kama walimu tulipokea kwa mshangao sana kifo cha msichana kupitia hiyo njia ya ukatili. Kwa hakika Diana alikuwa ni mwanafunzi mzuri. Alikuwa ni mwanafunzi ambaye unaweza ita above average academically.
Matungu OCPD Matili Rabai condemned the act, saying that the police were after the attackers. This comes barely a week after yet another attack in Halaba village, Matungu constituency, left a 9-year-old girl with serious machete wounds. The girl is still receiving medication at the Kakamega Referral Hospital.
Kutafuta kufika tu kwa nyumba ya jikoni watoto wanalala, nikakuta mtoto amekatwa. Wakati alikatwa, nikaanza kutoka sasa kuanza kulia na kupiga nduru. Watu waliingia, nikachukua mtoto tukampeleka kwa hospitali. Ndugu yangu alinisaidia gari, tukampeleka kwa hospitali Matungu akashindwa. Wakasema wakaita ambulance ya Kakamega.
Jumi nang'ang'ana na mtoto wangu ameenda mpaka amefika standard 7. Kama nang'ang'ana na mtoto. Shule inafunguka, mtoto wangu ni maiti. Ni uchungu.
Zacchaeus Masame, NTV, Kakamega.
Away from that sad story to a bit of politics. And former Harambee Stars player McDonald Mariga has been picked by the Jubilee Party National Elections Board to fly the party's flag in the November 7th Kibra by-election. Mariga is one of 16 aspirants who were interviewed today at the Jubilee headquarters. The party says it picked Mariga because he captures its aspirations and can carry the Jubilee dream. His approval comes ahead of the IEBC deadline set for September the 9th and 10th for political parties and independent candidates to submit their list of candidates. He will now battle it out with candidates from ODM, ANC and Ford Kenya for the Kibra parliamentary seat. The seat fell vacant after the death of Ken Okoth on July the 26th following a long battle with cancer. NTV spoke to Mariga earlier today where he claims he enjoyed the backing of the party's chiefs.
Mimi nimekuwa mkazi huko, nimekaa Karanja, so I know kila kitu about slums na Kibra.
Unafikiri kuna influence fulani ndio imekufanya ukasimama kwa?
No, hakuna influence. Ni mimi mwenyewe nimedecide na my family na tukajaribu.
I'm pleased to announce that the above processes have yielded for the Jubilee Party a candidate of impeccable character and credentials, a candidate who has enduring connections with the people of Kibra, as he hails from Karanja, a neighborhood within the constituency, and most importantly, a candidate who has demonstrated energy, passion, and zeal, not only to lead by example, with humility, but also to deliver a timeless and transformative agenda for the people of Kibra. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor and privilege to present to you McDonald Mariga Wanyama as the Jubilee Party candidate for the upcoming by-election for Kibra constituency.
All the best to McDonald Mariga as he trades the football boots for political office. All the best to him and indeed the rest of the candidates. The people of Kibra will get to choose who their leader is. The next leader at least will be. On that note, let's take another short break on NTV tonight. Still ahead. Central Bank approves the National Bank's takeover of the Kenya Commercial Bank.
The University of Nairobi is receiving applications for the September 2019 intake. Interested applicants should apply online at application.uonbi.ac.ke. Choose a course from its diverse market-driven and internationally recognized programs in undergraduate, postgraduate and fellowship programs in arts, business, economics, journalism and mass communication, law, education, project planning and management, computer science, medicine, among many others. For more detail, visit our website www.uonbi.ac.ke. The University of Nairobi, a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
When you sign up for autocorrect from Heritage Insurance, we will install a telematics device in your vehicle. You will also enjoy rewards by accumulating points for good driving. You can save up to 15% of your insurance premium. Autocorrect from Heritage. For more, SMS autocorrect to 22922 or visit autocorrect.heritageinsurance.co.ke.
The Federation of Kenya Employers FKE invites you to the 3rd Employer of the Year Awards, Air and Gala Dinner at the Radisson Blu, Upper Hill, Nairobi on Friday, 20th September 2019 from 6 p.m. The event honors the best employers in Kenya. To register for the Gala Dinner and the award ceremony, book your ticket online through www.air-kenya.org or call Samuel Mungai on 0709 827-101 or email air@fke-kenya.org. Welcome.
I learned the best way to succeed is by first defining your path. Just like climbing a tree, you focus on one branch at a time. Hold it, test its strength, climb it, and then focus on the next branch. What I came to realize, each and every aspect of our lives, mine included, as an Isuzu effect behind it. My dream is to make Kenya an Isuzu nation.
Ukamwambia aje? Naye akakwambia aje? Na ulimjibu. Nani wanalia hapo nyuma? Ni mtoto. Usikate, mpatie simu. Hello, Junior. Okay. Patia mama simu.
Cheki usikate.
Usikate, ongea sana.
Usikate. Wakenya, happy tuna stories. Story bonus imerudi na madrama na mavideo. Ongea zaidi au ongeza bado kwa line yako. Ujipatie 200% story bonus plus 200 MB YouTube free kila siku.
Witinesa. Ona, lazima uone.
Usikate pata story
nawe kila wakati.
Breakfast is not complete without the new Minute Maid Nutri-Defense's Nectar Plus. Complete the most important meal of the day with the goodness of great-tasting juice fortified with vitamin E and zinc to complement your family's nutritional needs. Minute Maid Nutri-Defense's Nectar Plus. Breakfast complete.
NTV Business News in association with the University of Nairobi.
It is time to get down to business. Welcome, I am Julian Amboko, and let's start with a deal. Now, 3 weeks after the National Assembly's Finance Committee advised against the takeover of National Bank by KCB Group, the deal has received a green light from the Central Bank of Kenya. In a statement issued today, the Central Bank says the takeover will strengthen the two banks, a position which contrasts the National Assembly's view, which recommended that the National Treasury should find alternative ways of recapitalizing National Bank to keep it afloat. The approval from the Central Bank comes about 4 months after the deal secured the Capital Market Authority's green light. The shares of National Bank were suspended from trading at the Nairobi Securities Exchange today, paving the way for the delisting of the bank. And away from that, milk producers in the country have called for the establishment of an independent body that would rein in on the rogue artificial insemination service providers. The farmers accuse providers of supplying low-quality semen, thereby yielding low-quality breeds of livestock that have low milk production. Gabriel Kudaka with the details.
Getting quality sexed semen is one of the challenges most dairy farmers in the North Rift region have to grapple with.
Mambo ya AI kwa sababu ya kuchelewa kwa servers, so una decide kutumia bull. Na bull huwezi kujua ni ya maziwa ama si ya maziwa.
Most farmers have been trying to use AI, and when you're getting AI that are being sold through agrovet stores, there's no guarantee on its viability.
Farmers are normally forced to dig deeper into their pockets in case the insemination procedure is not successful, resulting into extra costs. Quality sexed semen plays a big role in the breeding and production of milk. Therefore, its availability or lack of it is a major factor in dairy farming.
Waweze kuhakikisha ya kwamba ama wale inseminators waweze kuangalia kwamba ile liquid nitrogen iko sawa sawa, kwa sababu hii mbegu inatoka ng'ambo ikiwa sawa.
To caution farmers against such challenges, some dairy cooperative societies have decided to partner with an AI semen importer in a move that would see its members get liquid nitrogen tanks and other AI equipment directly.
Can only be done in combination of a track and trace system, so that we know to who and which farmers the bull semen is sold, so that we can also track and trace the results up to the cow, whether a cow becomes pregnant or not.
The cost of imported straws ranges between 1,500 shillings to 10,000 shillings on the local market, depending on the type of the breed and whether it is conventional or sexed semen. Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
Now, ministries, departments and agencies have until the 16th of September to submit program, performance and strategic reviews to the National Treasury as the government looks to rationalize expenditure amidst below-target tax revenue. In a statement dated August 28, 2019, the National Treasury has asked accounting officers of all ministries, departments and agencies to submit detailed assessment of previous budget allocation, actual expenditure and the realization of the target outputs for the period between 2016 and 2018. This signals an attempt by the government to streamline project implementation through identification of ongoing stalled and suspended projects with a view to prioritizing the Big Four agenda. Now, in case you have put your money in a company by the name Women Investing in Entrepreneurship, you have a reason to be worried. Now, the Capital Markets Authority has raised the red flag over the company, warning the public against participating in any capital-raising initiatives it is undertaking. Further, the company's bank accounts have been frozen following findings from investigation looking into the nature of its business. CMA says the Women Investing in Entrepreneurship has been raising capital from members of the public, particularly women. Now, it is a field day for tenants and buyers and a rough patch for developers as the top end of the residential property market continues to cool off, with both rent and prices on a general decline for the first 6 months of 2019. According to the latest report from real estate company Knight Frank, prime property prices in Nairobi declined by 1.8% in the first half of 2019 compared to the 0.4% drop reported in the same period in 2018. In the same period, rent in the same segment of the market declined by 1.7% compared to a 0.3% drop in the year earlier. The top end of the residential property market is facing oversupply, which is pushing rent and prices downwards. And up next, we have the financial report. And that's it from the business desk, but still ahead.
NTV Business News in association with the University of Nairobi.
Interested applicants should apply online at application.uonbi.ac.ke. The University of Nairobi, a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
Nation FM. More music and less talk. Nairobi 96.3, Mombasa 101.5, Meru 93.9, Nyeri 104.9, Eldoret 102.7, and Nakuru 97.7. Follow us on social media on Facebook at Nation FM, Instagram at Nation FM, and on Twitter at Nation FM KE.
Viwanjani au majukwaani, burudani halikosekani. Na unapofurahia mikiki, upo udaku sasa. Ilishaeleweka na bado kitaendelea kueleweka.
Everyone has a desire. Some desire and talk.
My name is Morebi Bob. I'm a press technician.
I wanted to be a driver like him.
From Zara iko mzuri, nakula vizuri, nazi vizuri.
But some desire and make it a reality. Desiring is good, but getting the job done is better.
Sooner or later, utaona tu vijana wakikuja kuomba job. Kuna miaka kama 6 sijalinda na nafanya kazi.
The mortuary has exposed me to the world. My job on NTV.
This is going to be a long conversation.
The hard thing to understand is why, if the number of deaths is disputed, then the extent of the situation might so actually be disputed.
These are not stories that are being told by somebody who's not been on the ground.
I have never known of any single time the Kenyan media and the international media came together to tell a lie.
Hatuna kwanza maji na inasemekana ni handshake.
Kwa hiyo serikali ikisema hakuna mambo ya jaa, hiyo hatuelewi sana.
Wacha watu wa media waendelee kumweka deputy president katika headlines.
Is it a surprise? This is the opinion from some Kenyans.
Where there is slants and there is bias, the public will see it.
Is it media taking a position against the DP?
These are questions which the media must wrap its mind around and set agenda for this country.
In the children's curriculum to raise their levels of awareness of the disease.
In the early morning, Congolese school children are among the first to arrive at the busy Mpondwe border crossing. Before heading off to the school in neighboring Uganda, they disinfect their hands with water mixed with chlorine and have their temperature taken to check for symptoms of Ebola. Precautionary measures like this have been in place since August 2018 when a new Ebola epidemic broke out in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Normal days, we always screen around 6,000 to 10,000 travelers.
At Nyabugando Primary School, there are over 150 pupils from the DRC, more than 10% of the school's population. It has set up an Ebola task force to educate children and communities about the virus and preventive measures.
We are always washing our hands, and we don't just welcome visitors. Before we welcome them, they first go for the checkup. When they check up them is when they come back at our home and welcome them as visitors.
The task force also seeks to increase awareness among parents.
At the beginning, some of the parents, those parents from Uganda, had a negative attitude, saying that those children from Congo will affect their children. But after teaching them the procedures which we normally follow, then we had to come to a resolution, and that one ended.
East Africa has been on high alert since the outbreak was declared in the eastern DRC provinces of North Kivu and Ituri. Instead of closing its border with neighboring DRC in this part of Uganda, the focus is on disease checkpoints and education with an aim to spread knowledge rather than the virus.
Further down south, dozens were arrested as angry protesters targeted and looted shops they believe are owned by foreign nationals in the Johannesburg suburb of Taffontein in a new wave of violence targeting foreigners. Police fired rubber bullets at looters as burnt cars were abandoned in the roads and violence grew. Officials, however, dismissed reports that the ongoing attacks were xenophobic and that foreign-owned shops were targeted in the violence, insisting that they were opportunistic crimes. On Monday, a pamphlet attributed to a group called the Sisonke People's Forum circulated on social media, encouraging South Africans to chase foreigners out of their communities and accusing them of selling drugs and stealing jobs. Today's violence follows similar incidents in Pretoria last week, in which protests, led by taxi drivers, saw several foreign-owned shops looted and torched. From South Africa to Sudan, where many young people are wasting no time in taking advantage of Sudan's regime change to exercise personal freedoms. The change comes after a crash of former President Omar al-Bashir's conservative regime after a wave of protests that started last year over the economic situation of the country.
Earlier this year, hairdresser Mazin Kamal was stopped by paramilitary forces on a street in Khartoum for having long hair and was shaved on the spot. Now, the barbershop he works for is seeing an influx of young men coming for modern hairstyles that would have incurred the same punishment under the now ousted and jailed Sudanese ex-leader Omar al-Bashir.
Truth is, during the former regime, people were not allowed to have their favorite haircut. People had to have a specific cut that was allowed at the time. If someone broke this rule, he could be beaten or insulted.
The rules were also harsh on women, with security forces often adopting a hardline interpretation of the Penal Code ban on indecent outfits. Women had been sentenced to lashes for wearing trousers on many occasions, in line with the Sharia law that Bashir imposed after taking power in a 1989 coup. But now, the sight of young men wearing jeans outside Khartoum University or even smoking a water pipe on cafe terraces is not uncommon. Even men had to smoke shisha in secret during what many Sudanese now call the old days. In the old quarter of Khartoum, Mohammed Ahmed Badawi and his friends used to gather to smoke on the first floor of a clandestine shisha cafe.
We had to let the owner know by calling him that we were coming. We had to be very careful, and once in, we had to lock the door behind ourselves. Even to leave, we had to go through a complicated procedure because soldiers of the former regime were always surveilling this area.
In the dimly lit cafe, patrons, a mixed crowd of artists, engineers and civil servants can now smoke without fear of arrest. A mile up the bank of the Nile River, fashion and leisure or even freedom of speech are distance considerations for Samia Siddiq, who is raising 3 children alone. The most tangible change that Sudan's revolution against Bashir brought for her, a widow, is the right to earn a living by selling tea on the street.
My salary only comes from this place, from the street. All my life depends on this job. That's how I pay my rent, my food and my children's. Without this job, I would not be able to survive, feed my children or pay their school fees.
Several other women have also set up their small tea businesses across this large open space where mostly young men come to cool off in the evening, sitting in groups on brightly colored plastic chairs. Last year, this sort of thing had been banned by the police and they would raid and confiscate all their equipment. The 37-year-old, however, did not take part in the protest that brought down Bashir, and she admits to not following the country's political developments closely.
Let's take another short break on NTV tonight. When we come back, Warode Kiru has the day's sports. Stay with us.
Be a team player. The ability to interact with others in a courteous, approachable, and professional manner will enable you to work well with fellow students and with fellow colleagues. September 2019 intake is ongoing for the following CBET courses: simple automation, lathe machine operator, manual metal arc welding, among others. Apply now and enjoy reduced tuition fee. The Nyeri National Polytechnic, excel in skills and technology.
The 3 sides of Anna.
My life has changed in an instant. An instant, and for everyone, I stopped existing. But I'm thankful for that. I'm going to have it all.
The 3 sides of Anna, identical and different.
Dinda, unapeleka wapi vitu zangu?
Yaani wewe utashindaga hapa kila siku.
Babe, apparently your son has a fever. Oh, babe.
Mimi ni security consultant. Mimi sio muganga.
Look how happy he is seeing both of us here together.
Ukifunua, tunafunika.
Kushunu ulinipea ikifanya kazi.
Hii sura inakaa ya mganga. Hujawahi ona mganga handsome.
To play, welcome to NTV Sport. I am Warote Kiru. After successfully defending their African title, the national women's volleyball team, the Malkia Strikers, now turn their focus on the Volleyball World Cup that serves off later this month. However, despite his exploits at the African Games, head coach Paul Bitok is yet to get a full-time contract from the Kenya Volleyball Federation. A jig for the African champions. The national women's volleyball team, the Malkia Strikers, have returned home to a heroic welcome from the African Games in Rabat, Morocco. The victory made even sweeter, given that the volleyball queens earned sweet revenge over arch rivals Cameroon.
Cameroon imekuwa problem kwetu, but the last like 2 months, less than 2 months, tumekutana 4 times, but wameshinda moja, tumeshinda mara 3. Yeah, so we are the African queens. Yeah, thank you so much.
So you've had the African Queens. I think that's what Malkia basically means, right?
Head coach Paul Bitok took over the reins 2 weeks ahead of the continental showpiece after the firing of Italian Charlene Ramdo, and he had presidential pressure to deliver.
We went to see His Excellency President Kenyatta, and we promised him that we will come back with a trophy. And I'm very happy today that we are here giving him the trophy, showing that we are the best in Africa.
Despite his success in Rabat, Morocco, and even with the team set to play at the Volleyball World Cup in Japan this month, Coach Bitok's hands are tied.
Next now for us is to plan for the World Cup, which is coming this month. We are supposed to leave for Japan on 12th. But I am yet to talk with the federation because I didn't have any contract with the federation.
The administrative hiccups aside, the coach who enjoyed a decade of success in Rwanda is pleased with the pool of talent in Kenya.
Yes, what I saw and the talent that these girls have, especially the young ones, no one can stop Kenya in the next few years.
Congratulations to the Malkia Strikers. And the historic Ineos 159 Challenge is less than 6 weeks away. And this past weekend, a series of tests were done on the course in Prater, Vienna to ensure that the event is a success. The Ineos 159 Challenge will...
Yani, unataka tuendelee kuishi kwa hiyo kibanda ulikuwa unaishi ukiwa bado bachelor?
Sasa tunawachana, nataka tu tunafanya kitu tukiwa wawili.
Unajua hizo mistari za Ultra bus tuliacha form 1.
Kwa sababu wewe ni senior Matianyu unakatiwa na nini Pawaso?
I'm officially engaged to the Prince Crotus Sabong.
Kwani Crotus ni nani?
Crotus ndo mdosi wake.
Kumbe unataka kupendwa serikali eh?
Kukusaidia naweza kusaidia. Lakini kama unafikiria unalala pale kwangu, hiyo sahau. Wewe kulala pale ni kama Trump kucheza Saudi dance.
Sawa, nitarudi with a bang.
Hiyo usingizi yako ni ile tulipia rent. Kwani umekuwa mtoto?
Leones ndo anaenda kuhunt.
My name is Janet. It's either
chemical company, and it's one of the most lucrative companies in the world. It's recently bought niece of the French Ligue 1. And Phoenix FC are the winners of the inaugural Murang'a County League, which has been renamed Irungu Nyakera Murang'a Football League after edging Tana FC 4-2 in post-match penalties in the final. Phoenix from Kiharu constituency emerged the winners in the 16 teams County League, which started last year with a total of 197 games played. The tournament was sponsored by the Irungu Nyakera Foundation, who signed a memorandum of understanding with the country's football governing body, Football Kenya Federation FKF, last year to scale up talent development and nurture sports in Murang'a County. According to Nyakera, his foundation is working hand in hand with Soccer Africa, which is a FIFA-registered scouting agency to scout for talent in Murang'a.
Challenge kubwa kwa hii mpira yetu, hii mpira ya mashinani ni facility na pesa. Sababu timu kutoka Kenya kwenda Ndakaine kwenda Kangema ina need transport. Unapata hawana
kwa vile hao ndio wako na hiyo license within Africa. Kwa hivyo tutaendelea kushikana nao so that we can also siwezi nikiona mtu anaitwa Kamau anacheza kule Chelsea in London, hata mimi nitafurahia.
It's Kamau acheze Chelsea. And it is September, and that means one thing for vintage car lovers. The Concorde Elegance is around the corner. A 1947 Ford pickup owned by Anwar Fataidin is the latest entry received for the 2019.
Ama urudi pale umetoka. She's the best housemand around.
Hatukusema tunahitaji mashini ya kusiaga unga and a sweatshop.
I'm the only one who can start your madness. Ukweli. You are not the best maid.
When you meet a Luo carrying his briefcase, don't ask him whether he's going to work. Luos don't go to work. We attend to professional commitments.
We got a twin exhaust system which enhances the horsepower on the engine and make it run smoother. I have every piece of confidence in me that we will be coming, not winning or anything. See, it's not a question of win, it's not a race. It's not a race. I mean, if I bring a car and my car's liked by the audience and by my friends and people, and especially the organizers of the Alfa Romeo Club, if they like it, that's my win.
For the love of vintage. And we finish our Monday night bulletin on this note. The national women's football team, the Harambee Starlets, thrashed Malawi 3-0 to complete a 5-3 aggregate victory that put them through to the third round of the 2020 Olympic qualifiers. The Starlets win, secured behind closed doors at the Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos, is NTV Sport Moment of the Weekend.
Pale mwanadada huyu anamtafuta Halima Chimwanda, anapata katika gamba lake la kifua, anatuliza pale Halima,
That turn and shooting to score by Mwana Halima Dogo is quite something to behold. Congratulations to the Harambee Starlets, and that's how we wrap it up on the Sports Bulletin tonight. I am Orote Kiru. Thank you so much for watching.
4 minutes to 10 p.m. That's where we wrap up NTV Tonight this Monday, because Mark Masai has a press pass in a short while, and I'm actually not leaving the studio. I'm actually heading over to the other side of the studio to be part of the panel to discuss the sins of saviors, that court order and the intrigues around it. They are preparing in that picture, as you can see there. In a moment, I'll be joining them to discuss that, as well as the issues around the politicization of the Mau Forest evictions, also coming up on Press Pass tonight. Thank you so much for making time for us on NTV Tonight. My name is Edmond Nyabola. Our sign language interpreter has been Flora Atieno. Bye-bye.